going back to your policy on the freezing of the value of the naira, you've opened up effectively a vast new area of corruption in terms of the parallel market. The black market is so different. So many people who've been allocated the foreign exchange, which is a narrow group of privileged and elites, are then often selling on that currency on the black market and therefore making a huge amount of money. Another window of corruption has opened up. And this, of course, goes against one of the main tenets of your presidency.
I agree with you.
What about obviously those who are slightly more privileged, like yourself? You've got children studying abroad. There are parents in Nigeria with kids in universities and schools abroad who are now facing the possibility of having to pull their kids out. They actually can no longer afford to make the payments for school fees.
Well, if the country cannot afford it, so be it.
But your children will continue their studies, no doubt.
No, those who can afford it can still afford it. But for those that can't, Nigeria can't allocate foreign exchange for all those that decided to train their children outside the country. We just can't afford it.
So it's tough luck.
Well, that's the true situation we are in.
It's been described as the worst presented budget ever. There was budget padding, there were duplications, and there were miscalculations. A suggestion, therefore, that even within your own ranks, there is corruption.
I don't know whether it is corruption, but basically, you know, producing the budget is a question of technocrats.
Another issue that springs to mind is the allocation of funds for the improvements to the State House Clinic. The clinic, of course, that serves you, the Vice President, and some other privileged people as well. When, of course, as we know, the state of most Nigerian hospitals is lamentable, and this is seen as being so unfair and not in keeping with the promises that you made on election.
Well, I don't think our decisions are perfect, but we are going to revisit all observations that really are serious enough to be considered.
Indeed. The reason I'm asking you about this is because there are many in Nigeria. We know Nigeria is roughly evenly split between Muslim and Christians seem to be complaining and wondering whether President Buhari is taking the identity of Nigeria and turning it into an Islamic country, which they object to.
Why can't those Christians that complain go and fight terrorism in Nigeria or fight the militants in the south? It's Nigeria that matters, not the opinions of some religious bigots.
Things happened so fast that I think everybody missed something, but between those who were here abroad and those who were at home. And this was how quickly things unraveled overnight. And that is classic Bukola Saraki right there, that whenever he wanted something, he's willing to sacrifice anything. There's been instances where he sacrificed his father for political expediency, his sister. And this time around, he had the party to be thrown under the bus, and he did that very quickly. To the extent that even the party did not recognize and realize that this was happening. The president did not realize what was happening before it was too late.
Of what happened, one of them was that this was an effort to diminish the role of Bola Tinubu in APC. There was another one that says that this was really the beginning of campaign 2019. Which one is close to the truth?
I think there's a part of it that's meant to diminish Bola Tinubu's role, but there's also a part of it that is meant to enthrone, a criminal gang, around a political criminal gang. I'm saying that also referring to Tinubu's own criminal gang, but there's a newer and more aggressive and more cutting-edge criminal gang in town that people haven't paid attention to. And they are composed of business people and politicians. And this is with the one that Buhari Saraki led. And what you saw was that, many people didn't know that Bukola Saraki was the biggest fundraiser for the Buhari election. Many people, everybody thought it was Tinubu because Tinubu is the owner of the party. No, it was Bukola Saraki who got money from the likes of Dangote and some of the guys who realized very early or very late in the game that Jonathan was going to lose. They channeled all their money through Bukola Saraki, including even some elements at the NNPC. You must have heard some stories about him taking money from the Minister of Petroleum Resources. Those were some of the monies channeled last minute. So he was a bagman, real bagman for the campaign. And he felt that he deserved to be rewarded for it, but the party didn't see him as someone who should be in a position like that.
I repeated that I brought all the copies of the panel. I didn't bring the white paper. All the copies of the panel. I didn't bring the white paper. There is nowhere I was indicted. If the Senate President permits me, I'm ready to lay this on the table so that members can have opportunity of reading it. Nowhere that I was indicted. Now, you've asked me to define corruption. Corruption is very difficult to define. If you're a public officer and you don't take bribe, I have never taken bribe in my life. But if they send a girl to you and you sleep with the girl and do that favor, you are corrupt.
Question.
No, it does. What
in the sense that what I'm saying is, are you saying, I mean, yes, you can say that those who follow you directly maybe do not carry weapons, but are you saying that every single member of your party, you know, none of them is a cultist?
Those who follow me directly carry weapons. Those are my security. But if you talk about followership in terms of politics, yes. One qualification you have is you must be God-fearing. You have no business being with me if you don't fear God.
Yeah, you must be God-fearing to be in the APC.
You must be God-fearing to be in APC.
So are you saying there are no bad eggs within the APC?
When you're God-fearing, will you be a bad egg?
All members of the APC are God-fearing in River State.
Of course I say that. You must be God-fearing. If you're not God-fearing, being God-fearing does not mean you won't commit sin. Don't forget that. But being God-fearing means that you have a limit for which you can do things.
To religion and ethnicity when they have run out of convincing arguments. And what I found in Kaduna State is that everything, even let's come and eat, people can bring religion into. Let's have lunch, people can bring religion into. It's very disappointing because I thought more than any state more from religious and ethnic division, and that should be lessons to us to walk away from that. But what I find is that the elites of Kaduna State have only one weapon, and that is religion. And it is sad.
Let's contribute something now to solve the problem. It's a problem we can solve. And that will reduce the number of people who are contributing to be the problem. So those who are vandalizing electricity assets, those who are selling stolen cable, those who are not paying their bills, who are diverting electricity, there are problems.
Him to apologize, we rather want him to fix the problem rather than coming to fail and apologize.
Yes, because Nigerians want a magic wand. It does not necessarily work like that. It does not necessarily.
Because the president and his party promised almost a magic when they were campaigning.
Almost.
Things that are almost unrealistic.
Mark your own words.
If for example, Mr. Additional, the president on Monday when he was in his opening speech, promised that by the end of 4 years, Nigerians will get 10,000 megawatts. That looks like a magic.
It doesn't look so. It doesn't look so.
Is that realistic?
It doesn't look so.
That was a flash, isn't it? That 5,000 you mentioned.
And you know
because
what,
we are back to back to less than 3,000.
You know what happened?
Many Nigerians don't know.
You know what happened?
Many Nigerians don't know.
After we had that 5,000, there was a vandalism of gas pipeline, first in Bayelsa.
We've heard that so many times.
Yes, we lost about 1,600 megawatts in one day. And then there was another one in Delta State. We lost about another 1,000 megawatts. So if some people are crying that they are in darkness, they should go and hold those who vandalize the installations. That's it. But 10,000 megawatts, as the president has promised, is a possibility by 2019.
Nigerians would, by 2019, Nigerians would not want apologies for it not happening.
It's a policy.
When they heard that you disowned the budget, in fact, you said rats, doctored budgets, and phraseologies that many thought, whoa, how can that be? And the same party, the National Assembly, what happened? Those who were responsible, what was their situation now?
Well, it will be difficult to really determine those who were responsible, but certainly some individuals were. And since we could not identify them, we also believe that they could not be Nigerians. That's why we liken them to rats.
How could they be Nigerians? Because, I mean, when you prepare the budget, there are processes that it goes through. So is it that difficult for us to backtrack and find out at what stage could it have been doctored before it got to the National Assembly?
Plague the oil industry. They're worried about job loss, potential job loss in the sector, arising from the position of majors who feel that the economy is giving them a rough end of the stick, and they begin to try to whittle down staffing, and they're obviously opposed to that. So we're going to be working collaboratively with the oil majors to ensure that you do not experience the kind of job loss that I'm hearing has the potential to happen in the sector.
When will the queue disappear?
One of the trainings I have is not that of a magician, but I'm working very hard to ensure that some of those issues go away. And let's be honest. In the 5-6 months that we've been here, NNPC's moved from being a 50% importer of products to basically a 100% importer. The 445,000 barrels that were located enables us to cover between 50 and 55% of importation. So it's quite frankly sheer magic that we even have the amount of products that we have on the stations.
Somebody change it. One I change it, I tell. But that filling station the same now. One filling station around 9.
Even the first day, they don't agree to sell. They will just take it aside. They do somehow to make sure that black market will take a place by the night. And I don't know what our government is doing. If they don't want to do it for us, if they can allow us to do it by ourselves, we wouldn't mind.
You have a Minister of Petroleum, which is the President. He appointed himself as a Minister of Petroleum. They have to do the duty of Minister of Petroleum. If he cannot handle it, let him appoint another person. Last administration have a Minister of Petroleum. That man knows that he cannot handle it on own. That's why he get Minister of Petroleum. If he cannot handle, give you another person so that a tree cannot become a forest.
I come up very early this morning to see that I get fuel, because without the fuel I cannot go to work. My organizer they call me, say where are they? I say I they come. Come be like saying I lie the talk.
We are here since morning. We don't even know whether we will get fuel or we are not getting fuel. And these our people, they are just leaving us like that. And it's not good, because they know that we didn't have money. So them that they have money, they can use money to do whatever, anything they like. And we are here since morning. Some here since yesterday to get the first another problem. And we say we are in Nigeria, and we say we are enjoying ourselves, which are enjoying. So our people, they have to try for us.
Hours. I've been here since 5 o'clock. I have to take permission from office for the whole day. I take permission from office from the whole day. So look at me now. The time that they give me in the office has passed. So I don't know if they can help us with this 500 naira and enter the filling station. If everybody should be on the queue, I think the thing will go a long way.
Sleepy as is there for yesterday.